I tracked all of my habits for 3 years. I've always been a high performer, and so this is what drove me to wanting to track everything so that I could see that there is actual progress and numbers don't lie. So I can literally see everything that I've done the past 3 years on paper, and I can't lie to myself and say like, "Oh, I've been doing good," if I really haven't, or I can see where I've been doing a lot better. So I'm gonna share with you today what that entails, and hopefully you can inspire some of you to get real with yourself. The other reason is I was a very depressed teenager growing up, very high anxiety levels, and I remember looking at myself one day and being like, I've been sad every day. Am I really sad every day? Like, is this really my reality? And that's what drove me to start tracking my mood on and off since then. And now I just do it also because I want to make sure that I'm living a life of fulfillment and progression. The categories that I tracked in mind and body slash fit are if I drank a gallon of water, if I weightlifted, if I did cardio, if I did core, if I used the sauna, if I got a massage, if I meditated, if I went on a walk, if I did yoga, if I did a home workout, if I took creatine. And that's just the mind body fit. I didn't realize how long this was. I literally can scroll to all the things that I track. If I drank alcohol, if I just had one drink, if I had dessert. It's pretty in-depth, and I did this every day for 3 years. I just before bed, instead of scrolling social media, that's a habit I let go of a long time ago because it's just not healthy. I don't wanna be looking at other people's shit and then before bed and, like, sends me in a mood or something, I see something that triggers me, so it's just not healthy at all. I scroll Pinterest if I even am on my phone. I use the app Dailyo, and I mean, it does what I needed to. I didn't really explore any other app. I just kind of downloaded the first one that seems like it was good, and it's been great. At the end of every month, it'll notify me that my month stats are done, so I'll tap on it and it'll give me like a month in review of the count of everything that I did that month, and I can compare it to the month before. Let's start with caffeine 2025. So far, I've had caffeine 181 times compared to 291 times in 2024. So that's a downward trend of 38%. But the year's not over yet, so we don't know. This year is actually last year is when I started my waitressing job. So I was not going to let go of caffeine, even though I started tracking this because I was trying to ease it down since it can affect your hormones. In 2023, I had caffeine 208 times, 206 times, which compared to 2024 was an upward trend of 41% more caffeine. I'm not trying to lower my caffeine intake by any means. Let's look at dessert. And I feel like I've maintained weight the past 3 years. I've been weightlifting. It feels like I've been weightlifting often, but I guess we're about to see if that's true or not. So in 2025, I've had dessert so far 13 times. 2024, I had dessert 19 times, and 2023, I had dessert 57 times. So I do remember being a little fluffier or feeling a little fluffier 2023. That's before I was waitressing and I was working from home and I just was a little more comfortable, I think. But see, I could think of anything in my head and confirm it on how my year went. And so this gives me the solid truth, which can be scary. Let's look at weightlifting because 2025, I have weightlifted 103 times so far. And again, we're halfway through the year. So compared to 2024, I weightlifted 170 times. 2023, I weightlifted 147 times. So that's an upward trend from 2023 to 24. I weightlifted 16% more and I had a significant less amount of dessert. How much cardio did I do? I need to get on my cardio game again, and I just started doing it again. I always have to really like give myself a pep talk to do cardio, but it's getting better. So 2025, I've done cardio 36 times. This is not good. We're in August. And 2024, I did cardio a total of 45 times. And 2023, I did cardio 29 times. So that's a pretty good upward trend. 55% increase of cardio from 23 to 24. And then 2025, hopefully I can bring that number up because as of right now, it's down by 20% compared to last year. Let's look at what's another one that would be interesting to look at how much I've cried. 2025, I've cried 75 times. 2024, and it's August. Oh my gosh. And 2024, I cried 19 times. So, what? I have cried 56 more times so far this year than last year. So yeah, if you've been watching my YouTube, you know that I went through a crazy self-improvement. I'm going through a self-improvement transformation where I hit a rock bottom and I said, all this needs to change." So that explains why I've been crying a lot. 2023, I cried 11 times. But I'm not sure if that's accurate because I started logging the crying about halfway through 2023, so it's not the full year. How many times I got sick? That's interesting because my diet has been up and down, and if you watch my other video, you know I was drinking a lot of alcohol. We'll see what my alcohol numbers are, but okay, 2025 so far, and I put sick as in felt sick, not necessarily like I was actually sick, so this could really be anything. 2025, I felt sick 15 times versus 2024, 32 times, so we are down by 53% this year. 2023, I felt sick 41 times, and then 2024, that went down 22% to 32 times, so that's kind of interesting. How many times I had a headache? How many times I was low energy every day? And this is when I added because in 2023, I was not eating carbs. I was really into biohacking. So, if you're familiar with biohacking, it's very much high fat diet, low carb. So I was very high fat and I was eating little to no carbs, which caused me to eat around 1,000 calories a day, which is not healthy and not enough energy. So I was fatigued every day. I was so sleepy all the time and I would have so much coffee and I was just so tired all the time. So I started tracking. I added this one, this low energy one, to see how many times I was low energy. And honestly, it's been kind of scary. This year so far, I've been low energy 122 days. But also, I did just do my 180 of now not drinking as much. So I think that's why this number is going to change. How many days I was cramping. And this is because I added this because I started taking maca root. It's what has helped my cramps the most, and it regulates women's hormones. So it's been great to track this and see if it really is working or not versus me trying to remember how much pain I was in my last period. 2025, I've had cramps 6 times so far. 6 times. Versus 2024, I had cramps 27 times. And 2023, I had cramps 59 times. 59 times. So from 2023 to year 24, it went down 54%, and then 2025, it went down 78%. We are only halfway through the year, but I swear I sometimes I'll take maybe like a week or 2 off of maca root, but then I'll come back on it and I drink it in powder in a shake or my supplements. Yeah. Make sure it's gelatinized because eating it raw can have bacteria or can be a little hard to digest. I tracked my digestion. I tracked if I was nauseous. I tracked if I was hungover. We need more data to draw this chart. Okay. That's a new one. That's a new one. I think I was using the sick one as my hungover one because I didn't want to face I did want to take accountability for how much time I was wasting being hungover. So I think I just hid it under the sick tab. But then when I started getting real with myself, I was like, I need to track if I'm sick from alcohol or if I'm just, sick. I need to be specific so I can get real with myself and fix it. Let's go to drinking. So I have two habits as far as drinking. I have an alcohol one and then I have a one drink button because sometimes I would just have one drink and I didn't want it to count as like a full night out of drinking where I would consume around 20 drinks. So I wanted to make sure I had those separated. But I still wanted to track whenever I had one drink and not just overlook it because at one point it did start, even one drink started affecting my health. 2025, so far I have drank 36 times. 2024, I drank 110 times. That is almost a third of the year I was drunk. And that's what sent me on a spiral. That's what sent me to hit rock bottom and make sure that I was never in that place ever again. So that's down by 67%. 2024, I drank 85 times, and I was drinking like almost every weekend. For one drink, this was a new category, so I don't have data for 2023, but 2024, I had one drink 54 times, okay, on top of the additional 110. And then 2025, I've had one drink 22 times so far. So, but I'm sober right now. So this is gonna stay fairly low for the rest of the year. I tracked if I had a performance. Let's check the party one. 2025, I've partied 5 times this year. That's crazy. 2024, I partied 39 times. And by party, I mean like going out. So that's an 87% decrease. 2023, I partied 41 times. So I was I wasn't partying as much last year. Well, that's still a lot, but I was drinking. Even though I would always say like, "Oh, I'm not really going out. I'm not going out anymore." Um, the data shows you're still drinking a third of the year. And as you can see, I've only partied 5 times this year and it's August. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of myself because I at one point was like, when is this gonna end? When am I gonna learn? And sometimes you have to really let yourself go to the extremity of something for you to realize, like, this isn't me. I don't align with this. But sometimes you just have to see it through. And if not, then a lot of what discipline is just you hating the alternative of not having discipline. And that's what has helped me is that I've seen the other side, the complete lack of discipline and self-awareness, and I never want to go back there again. How many dates? If I spent time with my boyfriend, how many days I stepped back and didn't argue? I'm kind of scared to look at that one. Okay. Bad sleep. 2025, 23 times. 2024, 111 times. That's a third of the year having bad sleep. And so far this year, 2025, I've only had bad sleep 23 times. And it also tells you the mood and the influence that it has on your mood. It says the days that I have bad sleep, I'm 3% better that day. But then the same day, it says you usually have a 16% worse mood on the same day you mark as bad sleep. There's enough data to be confident. And then the day after that, it's 10% worse mood. The days that I have bad sleep, I also have 9% more caffeine. Days that I have bad sleep, I've been upset with my boyfriend 8% more of the time. And I have a cheat meal 5% more of the time. So I need my sleep. Same day as I have good sleep, I'm 10% in a better mood. And the day after that, I'm 1% in a better mood. If I had a performance, I don't know why this data is so bad. Um, there's not that many. I only logged it once, which isn't true. I've performed a couple times this year, but it's saying I have a 14% worse mood the day of my performance. Probably because I was nervous and trying to get everything together. But I need to fix that. Step back and not argue. I started tracking this because I just strive to have a better relationship with my boyfriend. And sometimes I have a mouth on me, so I try to hold it in and not make things worse with my attitude. So in 2025 so far I have stepped back and not argued 10 times, which is good. Um in 2024, total of 4 times. 2024 was honestly not a great year for me. 2025, I have actively tried to not argue 10 times, which is also really low, but we don't argue as much. So I guess that's good. Good mood. And here's activities that made me be in a good mood that day. Let's look at year. Yeah. 2025, I've been in a good mood 117 times. 2024, but the year's not over yet. So, and I've been in a good mood when I got a massage, when I got good sleep, when I did yoga, when I meditated, when I watched TV, which I rarely do, but it shows up. And I'm mainly in a good mood on Sundays and Fridays for some reason. But let's look at rad, which is like the top tier mood to be in. And 2025, I've had 13 rad days. 2024, I had 42. 2023, I had 57. So that's been going down. But I don't know. I feel like the rad days that I did have were very much outlier days. So what goes up must come down. I had a lot of ups and downs. Well, actually, let's see. Let's see. It says the days that I was rad would be Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, which is weird. Let's see about awful. How many awful dates have I had? 2025, I had 10 awful days, which is the lowest tier. And 2024, I had 14 awful days. This is days where I'm devastated, crying most of the day, just feeling like shit most of the day. Days I felt awful has been same days of some alcohol, cramps, days that I had cramps. I marked as an awful day. I think it's good to aim for stability rather than like crazy, amazing adrenaline days because it's not natural sometimes, even though there are those days where it's, I know you know what I mean. I go back and look at those every month, sometimes every week. I don't obsess over it as much as I used to anymore. It's been 3 years, so I kind of know, like, let me plan my week so that I do work out more this week, or it's good to check back on, like, how many cheat meals I had versus what my body's looking like that month. Sometimes I'm like, "Did I have a cheat meal last week because I went out one this week?" So, it makes it easier for me to be really transparent with myself with the decisions that I'm making that month or that week, and that's what drove me to completely wanting to cut anything out of my life that's not my creative work because I just have so much drive to make it, just trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be more stable. I'm trying to hit certain physique goals, certain mental health goals, and just be a better human being. Some things aren't even worth tracking. I just still do. Since I'm already there, I might as well. I've already created the habit of laying down in bed, looking at what I did today, and so it's kind of second nature at this point. I think Dailyo is a great app to start with. I'm sure there's other great apps out there too. A lot of people track in their journals also with like little tiny squares, just drawing in a square every day for every habit. But I would just always lose my journal whenever I try and doing that. So what's the actual ROI of tracking my habits every day? So obviously catching blind spots with the little things that I tracked, you can't really lie to yourself whenever the data is right there. The numbers showed me the truth, not my excuses. Second, I compressed years of trial into actual clarity. Instead of wondering how much I've been improving on weightlifting or cardio or sauna or actually taking care of myself, I have concrete evidence on what I'm doing every week, every month, every year to look back on. But mostly the identity shift that has come with me tracking what I do every day. I take full responsibility for what I do every day. I look at the data right in the face and I can't run from it. And I can't make an excuse on, like, oh, well, I felt like this, so I did that. It's like, no, you had a good night's sleep and you didn't work out, or, well, you had caffeine before bed. So no wonder you didn't get a good night's sleep. And so I became someone that takes full accountability for my improvement, and that's the kind of person that I am now. It's not the act of tracking, it's the act of taking the data and saying, "What do I need to change here to make this different?" It's about how fast you learn and adjust what you need to. For me, the payoff was the speed of growth. I have 3 years of data to look back on. I must say I'm pretty proud of myself, and I'm excited to do better this year with all those categories. Because someone might look and say like, "Hey, 2023 might have been a good year looking back at, like, these memories," but really, I'm weightlifting a lot more now. I'm doing a lot more cardio. I have better sleep. I have a more stable mood. So I'm on a good track. Let me know in the comments below if you've considered tracking, if you've tracked before, what your opinion is and how it worked for you. And let me know where you're at in your journey. Thank you for watching. Bye.